I think we're still waiting for Travis. I'm sure he'll be on any second now. Uh, we have a good discussion and some great videos for you to watch today. So as soon as Travis comes on, we'll get that started. Hope you're enjoying your morning. We'll give him 5 more seconds and see if he comes on. Okay, so before Travis gets on, you'll see in some of the videos I have to show today. I show the importance of Ashwaza, using your feet. In judo, it's I think it's a great advantage at the highest level to have good Ashwaza. And I know in our past sessions, we've seen some great Ashibarais, great foot sweeps from top players at the highest level. And here we're going to see how we use it to not throw, but lead to another throw. And when someone has good footwork, it affects the way people stand, it affects their balance, and affects the way they play. So it's a real important aspect of judo, and it takes years to learn. So for me, as a grassroots teacher and beginning coach, I teach coaches that you want to start learning how to do ashiwaza from day one. Get used to sweeping from the hip, turning your foot, and following through, and adding it to your judo. And it's just a great addition to your judo. Let me see if I can text Travis. You coming? And we'll see some top players do it in today's videos. Let me see if. Oh, here we go. Travis, please post videos regularly. You're my judo guru. Good morning, Hey, Stephen, how are you? So just so you know, this is a new platform, and I got a very quick instructional from Travis. He made a video for me. Doesn't always have patience for me, being an old guy, but so I had my live session yesterday for coaches, and today Travis is going to take the helm. I hope, because I certainly blamed him for all my mistakes I made yesterday. But we did have some great videos yesterday, and for those of you who weren't there, we did we highlighted posture and the importance of posture when you're fighting, when you're offensive and defensive. And I had some great videos showing that. And I don't know who has access to it, but it's worth watching because it's critical. And you'll see in the videos today the athletes, the posture they have. So it's really important. And again, in teaching judo, you're teaching it from day one. Posture is always emphasized. Kids have to stand up straight. In my beginning days in judo at the Buddhist temples, the old Japanese senseis would have no problem, kicking me in the butt, just telling me stand up straight. I still hear it in my ears from when I'm a young boy. Stand up straight, and it's true. I mean, posture is critical in judo. Okay, let's see. Good morning. What about bringing back leg grabs? Well, it's interesting. You're going to see in did I have something in my videos? I certainly can go and show some old judo videos of leg grabs. People, I know Jimmy had a great Firemans kataguruma that he did, and certainly there were athletes. There's a light heavyweight named Kovacs that had a tremendous leg pick, and he won the world championships doing that. Today he couldn't do it. Rule changes the outcomes of judo. In my humble opinion, anything that's offensive should be allowed, whether it's gripping, whether it's attacking, whether it's grabbing the legs. You know, they as the people, when they make the rules, they feel that they look at the worst aspect of the leg grab and they use that as an example and not the best aspect of it. And you know, it is a great technique when done right. And interestingly enough, is that when I ran my club many years ago and my kids wrestled, when leg grabs were legal, uh, it prepared them for wrestling so much better than it does today. You watch judo kids wrestle today; they can't stop a single or a double. They're not used to it. Where many years ago, all the judo athletes knew how to stop a single. They knew how to keep their power leg forward so they could do uchimata or harai or osoto for that matter. And it was really a real easy transition. And today, when I see videos of some of the judo players wrestle, they don't know exactly how to use their legs when someone goes after it. And I recommend, if anyone is interested in judo and wrestling, there's a highlight video of Jason Morris who does a phenomenal job, using judo when he wrestles. It's actually beautiful to see how he hooks the leg and he uses it with uchimata, ouchigari, osoto, kosoto. He does it all. So it's a great video if you have students that wrestle, or you just want to know how to use your legs. Again, those rules are not legal in judo that much anymore, but they are in wrestling and maybe jiu-jitsu. Worth doing. So let me see. Someone scanned your code. Cool. Let me see if I can work the videos from here. I don't know if I was supposed to go solo today. I'm going to wait a little bit, see if Travis comes, because the video time is more fun when Travis sees him for the first time. And we have more fun. Let me see if there's any other questions. So this coming weekend, we're having a big training camp in Boston, where Canadian teams are coming, and some teams from New York are coming, and we're gonna have a big 4-day training camp, and it should be great. They have at least long leg grabs that elevate the opponent, so the fireman's carry would be allowed. Take a room. Yes, so it makes sense to me. It makes sense to me to allow the leg grab. And it's interesting that the the head of the referees are all former athletes. They're all former athletes, and I don't know necessarily why. And me as an athlete, I never grabbed the legs. I was a stand-up judo player as a middleweight and a heavyweight. But I do think it adds more technique, and it makes judo a little more exciting and more difficult. And at the same time, as long as you can penalize for negative activity, there's no reason why you can't have that. So we'll see what happens after the Olympics, because they changed the rules at the end of the quadrennium. So after the next Olympics in France, we'll see what they do. And I'm never surprised when they make big changes, because they do make big changes at times. So we'll see what happens with the gripping and the legs and other rules that they have. So all that will be interesting. Let's see. Anonymous, good morning. Good morning, Anonymous. How are you? Any other questions as we're moving forward? And I don't, can you recommend some judo clubs in Los Angeles? I'll tell you what, Robert. My email address is steve@americanjudo.com. So I don't have to go through it now. Just send me an email, and there's lots of judo clubs in Los Angeles. Lots and lots of good judo clubs. Not as many as there were before, but there are some good judo clubs with good teachers there. So there's lots of clubs in Los Angeles. Happy to do it. Send me an email, and I'll give you a list. You can let me know where you're at, and that would be great. And they have some good tournaments there too. I think they have a Winter Nationals in December. That's a pretty big tournament. I think they have like 800 competitors there. Los Angeles has a lot of judo, and it's good judo too. So sure, absolutely. More about the coaching courses versus the instructor courses. How will that work? And then, so the instructor courses, sure. So we have a goal, and it's twofold. For me, when I look at the amount of clubs that there were in the 60s, 70s, and beginning of the 80s, there were an enormous amount of clubs there, judo clubs. And as the clubs faded away, there was no succession plan. So the instructor got old and he left for whatever reason, and no one was there to take over. And no one really learned how to teach judo. So that's one aspect of it. There's no succession plan. So the instructor program teaches you how to teach judo. And Steve, you took level 1, and I know we've got to figure out, and I've talked to Travis about it recently, as he's still recovering from his injury, talked about going forward with the second level. I'll be in Boston this week, and we'll be discussing that exactly and how we do that from a distance. The coaches program is going to be about coaching. It's going to be about how you deal with your athletes when you start, whether it's, how you train, when you train, from the aspect of when you start weightlifting, how you condition, and also all the way from the grassroots all the way up to the elite level. And the elite level, you want to know how you're going to peak for a competition. And that's all coaching. And what we want to do in the instructor course is, to teach these coaches, and I'll call them teachers, how to teach in a way. So let's say, Stephen, in 6 miles from where you're at, there's a YMCA that wants to start a program, and you can take one of your instructors, if they've gone through the instructor course, and they could teach basic judo and teach. And if you follow my blog, which is available, I start my blog writing from day one, from walking in the door, your first day of judo. And I just my last blog had to do with your student's first tournament. I'm going to jump a year going forward, but all the way from teaching them their first techniques, teaching them what games to play, what functional games to play. So when when your kids are warming up and they're doing things, all their training is led toward functional judo. So if you take these courses and you learn that, not only through the courses, but also through the resource, which is me, who's once a month goes on, and not only am I writing, I have live sessions. You will learn what to do for your athletes as you build your club. And I cannot explain to you how critical it is that you teach these kids fundamentals as you're building their functional base of judo. Because if that's not built right, learning judo is very difficult. And I make it akin to math. You learn math, you learn lessons, and you work on the simple addition. And if you don't get it, you keep doing it until you get it. Then you move to level 2 and level 3. And you know that if you can't do level 1 and 2, you can't go further. You jump to level 4, you're not going to be able to function, because there's every level, there's a piece of that as you go forward. So we're building a foundation, and the foundation is critical. And that's what the instructor course is teaching you how to build a foundation when you're teaching judo, how to grab the gi, how to pull, how to lift, how to step in, the spacing, how to be a good uke, all the things that are important about running a judo school and teaching judo is in that instructor course. And I'll tell you that when we put this together, it wasn't a short time. We took the first video took us like almost 20 hours, because we debated, we discussed on what's important. What's the important aspect of teaching, so that everyone who takes this course, we're going to touch every level for them to learn how to teach. And like I said, we're not showing you what to do. As you know, Stephen, what we're doing is we're teaching you how to teach. So as you take the course, you have to read back to me. You have to tell me. You have to teach me how to do judo. And that's where you learn with the course. It's a fantastic course. And it's necessary today more than ever in judo. And for your jiu-jitsu athletes out there, if you want to teach judo, it's the way to learn. It's the way to learn. Because between Jimmy, Travis, and I, we have quite amount of years of knowledge in teaching, and certainly success in working with the best athletes our country has ever produced. So it's worth looking at. You know, again, coaching is different, and I know we overlay the terms all the time. Someone stands on the mat with a black belt, we call them a coach. But the example I do is when you learn math, you learn how to do a skill, whether it's addition, subtraction, going your way up, and then you do these problems, and the teacher looks at the problems, and you get, when you get it right, you go to the next level. Now, if there's a test in a month, the teacher says, okay, this is what's going to be on the test. Let's prepare by studying this, this, and this. So then she's coaching you. She's telling you what you want to, how you want to prepare for that. And that's the simplest way I can explain it. Yeah, Stephen, I know, and I promise you, it's my promise to you, we'll get to level 2 and 3. We're going to be doing that. So yeah, it will get better, and it will get it. Anonymous, I don't know where Travis is. I don't know where Travis is right now. He's supposed to be with us. I'm about to go to the, I texted him, and oh, okay. So he read my text now. So hopefully he's joining us. There he is. Travis, was this a test for me? Were you testing?
No, we're in the middle of doing a gym build out in Minnesota and ran into a problem with the guy's turf and square corners, and yeah, a little bit of a headache, but that's okay. Problem solved. Guys running to Home Depot to get the supplies, so here I am.
Well, I force myself not to go to the videos because I think part of our fun is you watching them for the first time.
All right, you want to jump into the first one?
Let's go.
All right, here we go. Let's see what we got. Where did you find this video? Oh, that sucks. Oh, I feel bad. I feel so bad.
Now, remembering that Dennis is like number 5, top 5 in the world in a division that has both Abe and Mariyama.
But you know what? Like, that guy, he's so hit or miss.
Yeah.
Like, so he could be on and beat anyone in the world, and then some days he's just as flat as a pancake. Oh, that is, man.
I was talking about the importance of Ashwaza in your judo and how you knock someone off balance, and how it, when you use it right, it's so effective.
Yeah, it just it all goes wrong, kind of like that nonchalant attitude that he has, like right off the rip. Because his strength really lies like once he's gripped.
Yeah. Yeah.
And this guy, like, look at him just lunge at him. Just so, like, I don't want to use the term unorthodox, but it's so unconventional because no one would ever teach somebody to do that.
Yeah, yeah, but boy, does it look good, huh?
He
kicks
he
just him. Nails him. He
bam. Look at that. He doesn't even put the foot down. He just goes right for it.
No. He
man. Oh, man.
A beautiful Santa.
Yeah, look at that hand rotation.
Yeah.
Oh, like, as white, you can't even be mad about it.
No, he got caught.
Can't even be mad. Sometimes things just happen, and it is what it is. Nothing you can do.
Well, it's one of those days when everything's working, it seems like.
Look, even his coach is like, how'd you do that?
And there's no question in this competition, he knew this was an obstacle.
Oh. Done. Let's see what we got for video number 2 here.
So I give Dennis a little bit of kudos here because I like him a lot. So I'll give him one back.
There it was, 2 hands on. Oh, look at that drive with the
Yeah,
hands.
it's classic, huh?
So much control. So much control.
You know, it's
Watch it
funny.
again.
I did my coach's session on posture and watching the good players, but their posture, it's just so good.
You know what's really hard for people though is like getting this elbow. Oh, I went to the wrong video. Here we go. Let's play this again. Let's do this. Oop. Let's click into there we go. Let's move this along. That it's just he pulls himself out of such a bad spot.
Yeah.
With that hand just go to work.
You know, we don't talk about it. I mean, you and I have talked about it in clinics, but your hand control is so critical in judo. It's so critical how you move your hand with your wrist being loose and driving. It's so important.
The other thing too that a lot of people don't really teach, but that tai sabaki of using your hips
Yeah.
instead of like running all the time. Like you can't be afraid of people attacking you. And right here, like if this Georgian just drops his hips and checks him with them, he doesn't get thrown here. But because he tries to slide out of the way, he gets
Yeah.
caught right there midair. Boom, plants. Look at that, just below the knee, like picture perfect.
Yep.
Look at that. It's always funny when I see Tayo guys with that toe coming up because they're driving so hard into this
Yeah.
shoulder. Where like a lot of beginners, they tend to drive onto their toes to like lean into it instead of
Yeah.
pushing through that right hand here up into that shoulder.
Yeah. It's I mean, Tayo takes years to learn. Just takes years to learn. And it's the spacing and the kazushi and everything just takes years to learn.
Yeah. Oh, thanks, Steve. Boom. Look at that. Level 1. Steve Finnick. I remember doing that at
Yes.
his club.
Yeah, yeah, we talked about that and how important it is and how it's we're going to do more with that and how how critical it is that people learn judo from step one and they teach it that way. It's so hard to teach judo when someone's learned it wrong. Getting rid
The
of bad habits is so challenging.
the only issue I really have with this throw is the lack of rotation with his shoulders, where he like sinks his hips down with his tayo and tries
Yeah.
to finish with his hands instead of that like nice, just committed shoulder turn.
You know, it's interesting. But it's kind of like when you watch sometimes Mariama change his rotation because people are in that division spin so fast off their
Yeah,
back
where
that
they're
they're
like
driving
sinking
straight
to
down.
drop them.
Yeah,
Yeah,
yeah.
it
No,
makes
I agree with
sense.
you.
Let's see what we got here. Oh, this guy. I I hate throws like this with a passion.
Yeah,
I hate them. They're so retarded. This kid. I remember when this thing first came out, and it's like it's such a skill discrepancy that people don't understand
yeah.
that like and it's why you only see them once in a blue moon.
Right.
They're like such flukes, and then every kid in the dojo sees this and
And they
tries
want to
it.
do it. Right.
I'm not even gonna support it. I'm moving on.
That's okay.
Real judo here. Oh, oh, oh no. Oh, he did him dirty. Oh, I feel bad.
Now that's some serious airtime.
I feel bad. That's not supposed to happen. But the one thing I will say for anyone who's like watching or coming back and watching this, like it's new rules, new things. A lot of I got into an argument actually with one of the USA Judo referees. Not really an argument as much as like a clearly lack of understanding on his part, where like they think that Korean style seo like this is illegal, and it's not. What's illegal is dropping somebody on the back of their head with it, where they can't
Yeah.
don't have an ability to turn. anytime you can get that forward rotation and that action like Margelion does here from Canada, it's scored all day, every day. And it's an important distinction that the throw is still allowed. There's a direction that you're not allowed to do it in. That's not allowed.
Right. And stopping a technique because people do it wrong is not a reason to stop the technique.
Man, and I always tell the kids, right? I'm gonna pause this. Let's fast forward this. Like, guys, you have to have hands on the gi. Like, first and foremost, like I get so annoyed even with our athletes when they hang on with one hand and they treat their other hand as like a break period. Like, oh, we're gonna have a mutual understanding that like
Right.
we're gonna hang out. Like they're 10 rounds deep in Japan after like 2 hours of training, and they're like, you know what? Let's just give it 10 seconds. We're both gonna take a breather and then we'll start back up again. And then they get caught with dumb things like this. You know,
It's a real pet peeve of mine too. I don't understand how you feel comfortable letting go of the gi. And
yeah.
on offense, I can feel when someone lets go of my gi. I feel it. I don't understand how they feel that they have any advantage
Look at that.
or
No hand.
anything in that.
You can see it poking through there. He's not even like reaching for that sleeve to like strengthen that pull by.
Yeah.
Nothing. He has no defense whatsoever. Good thing on the Canadian for even recognizing it.
Yeah.
You know, the only time I'm okay with like one hand on the gi is if you're like a Seanagi type player and you're doing like Ippon Seanagi like I was. But even then, my right hand was so active inside the position. It was never like pulled out because then I'd have to put it back in just to complete the throw. So it has to stay in that working pocket
Yeah,
all the
but
time.
when you had one hand, you kept your opponent's hand off you.
Yes.
You
It's like
didn't allow
actively doing
Yeah.
something and
Yeah,
participating.
you didn't play one hand when they had two hands on you.
Yeah. That's not a thing.
No.
Look at that. Oh, so much core strength. Oh, yeah, buddy. Oh, yeah. Somebody's got to turn that into a poster. Oh, no. Oh, no. There's a good one, too. Oh, yeah. That's nice. Boom. Plants him. That was probably the best video of the day right there. Oh, we're not done yet. We're not done yet. All old school.
Yep.
Old school.
So
The oopsies.
so there was a Turkish guy with the name of Ozkan.
I remember him.
This was his favorite move. World champion. He did this. I think he lost the
So for
Bendadot.
those of you guys watching really quick, because I don't think you can see it. What's happening is right here you see the hook. I'm gonna fast forward because it's like a split second. But the whole point to this technique is when you feel like the guy's gonna take you down backwards, and this was allowed back in the day. But right here, he's gonna let go of the Brazilian sleeve, and right there, that's actually his hand by his knee. He's reaching through and he's hooking it for the control. And right there, that's what nails the Brazilian is that arm hook. And then you kind of push with your leg and lean on it and they get stuck. So that right hand is actually going to work underneath that position for those of you guys who aren't familiar with this throw.
Yeah, you see him grab behind the knee.
Yeah. You know, I'm always a like when in a coaching scenario, I don't like teaching things that I don't get caught with.
Yeah.
And this was a throw that like I've never been caught with because I wouldn't defend this position in that way.
Yeah.
Like personally, I would stay up and fight with my hips inside the position and risk the Uchimata rather than the Ochi or Kochi to the rear. That's just me personally. The fact that he even tries to like sit and throw his back to the floor, knowing if the guy lands on top of him, he's a done deal. Oof. Such a pretty throw.
He's a world champion.
Iranian. Not this Iranian.
Yeah, no? I think this is the Iranian because he the next year he pulled out of the Olympics, if you remember.
No, you're thinking of Maris Maley, the 66. This is 90s because that's Hanato from Brazil, I think.
Really?
Right? Or my
I can't imagine 90 kilo doing that move, but maybe you're right.
it's an old video. It's so blurry.
That's okay. I just saw that move and I figured it's unique enough to show it because it's something that you don't see, you can't do anymore, right?
Mm-hmm. Even when you could, it wasn't that popular.
No, it's hard to do.
It's
hard
complicated.
to do. It's hard to do. Like
You
I said, the
gotta,
only other person I saw do it was Ozkan from Turkey.
yeah, you gotta be really willing to like live inside
Yeah.
that pocket and like
Yep.
ride the wave.
Yep.
I don't like it. Ooh, here we go. Oh, that's embarrassing. That's embarrassing. I hate this move. I hate it with a passion. I hate it. I hate it. I hate it. I hate it. Because everybody feels like they can just get out gripped and then this move's going to get them out of trouble. I can't stand it.
Yeah, it's always the one guy that can do it.
Yeah.
Yeah,
I'm going to let my neck get taken and then I'm going to try to reach across and get out of this position. Like, oh, so embarrassing. Just so many things have to go right and wrong at the same time. Like, not for nothing, but like, I'm just going to pause it here for a second. Like, let me let it go to this other side. Right here. What in the world is a left-handed Japanese judo player not holding that sleeve?
right.
What's he doing? What's he doing? What kind of like craziness is he even like thinking up here? Like he's in such like an awkward, like weird spot that like fundamentally, like I'm not sure how he even got here.
You know, the other thing too is that for people that don't play judo at the top level, you don't realize that these countries, judo is their number one or number two sport, and the pool they pick from is so large that you get these guys that are super strong, that are unique athletes, and do things that normal people don't do in judo. And whether it's, I mean, I thought a Mongolian guy that I thought he lifted trees for a living. He was so strong. There are some really, really unique players that find a way to use their judo with their strength. That's very unusual.
But it's also like a mentality thing for these Japanese guys, right? Because if I'm in this position right here, I'm doing sumi or I'm doing like ochi and I'm hooking in, I'm driving him back, and I'm getting into newaza because we're in such a place where like you wouldn't want to be.
Yeah.
And you're not necessarily thinking score, you're thinking like self-preservation, next exchange.
Yeah, and it's weird that he's bent so low. Usually a Japanese is going to stand up straight from there.
Yeah, clearly that Azerbaijan just like Hail Married his hand down this guy's back and he just didn't react. He thought he could just stand in the pocket. Like, moving in the wrong direction. Like, look at that half Osoto. Look at that. That's such garbage. Look at that half Osoto. Dayashi him right there. Just second that right there. Boom. He should have kicked him right in his ankle. Right there. Just hit him with an Ochi and get him off you. Take a knee. Be done with it. Live to fight another day. And then gets buried. Just poor awareness of like the flow of the match. Jesus. I get so annoyed when I see people at the club try this. I just get so annoyed. You pulled out a lot of annoying throws.
So just so you know, before you start this, I went really old school here. many people won't know, this Soviet judoka was maybe the best of his time. His name is Nevzorov. I don't know if you know who he is.
Mm-mm.
Won the world championships and the Olympic Games in 1976, 75 world championships. In 75, I was there. He won by all pons and didn't use the same technique twice. And it was at a time that the Soviets were changing a little bit from more of a sambo style judo to a more of a technical judo. And he was a guy that came out of it, and he was an amazing player, world champion and Olympic champion. Your coach told you about him? He was incredible, Jordan. He was a very special player. You just
Let
see him doing
me.
just a classic, and he's fighting another Soviet.
Mm,
So back in the days when I fought, you were allowed 2 players from every country. So there were 2 Japanese on each. Each pool had a Japanese, each pool had a Russian, a Frenchman. That you couldn't dodge anybody.
yeah, this must be late in the tournament too.
This is the gold medal match. So 2 Soviets fought for the gold there, and they moved up the other guy, Dvonikov. They moved him up to it was 80 kilos, 78, 80 kilos then I think, for the Olympics, and he took a silver medal in the Olympics.
You know what? I'm digging the all yellow back patch though.
Yep.
Oh,
So at that time during the repechage, if you lost to the guy that you had to lose to the guy that won your pool, and everyone who lost to them was in the repechage. So if you even if you made it to if you made it to the quarterfinals and you lost, you weren't in the repechage.
that's not it.
So if you lost first round, you're cheering for the guy to make it through.
Yeah. I don't think I can. Is there a clip in here where I can pull it out? Because the footwork for his Uchimata is really difficult to pull off. Most people aren't fast enough to do it. Oh, here it is. So I refer to it as skip stepping because your
Yep.
feet replace your feet. But
Yep.
right here, you see him load that back leg and he pulls with the front. And it's in. There's not a lot of power behind it, which is why I don't think he completes it on the entry. But what it does is when you get in, it allows you to get the lift, usually forces this hop, boom, and then you have to follow it up with that second hop here.
Yep.
But that motion right there, where he like fakes moving and he goes nope,
Yep.
and he pulls it in right away, and he just makes that rotation and blast him. So much extension.
The lift, the extension of the hip is so strong.
Yeah. It's really a muscle that's super hard to train.
Yeah.
You've really got to just try this thing out as many times as you can.
When you watch the great Uchimata players, and mostly they were from Japan, but that you watch their hips, you could see that extension.
Yeah.
You
It just
know?
opens up a little bit differently than the rest of us.
Yep. It's also like when you look at the great Sayanagi guys, like someone like Koga or someone, that when they come in that Sayanagi, there's like a lift off his body.
Yeah.
It's so strong. It's just like almost not human the way he does it.
Yeah. I used to tell people all the time because they wanted me to teach them how I do it. And I'm like, I can't.
Yeah.
You don't have like the strength that I have inside that position to pull it off. Because there's just so much lift and so much power with the connection that you get in your
It's
body.
real hard to copy. It's real hard to copy. And Newaza's that way too.
Yeah.
I mean, I haven't seen, and I don't know how you did your JuJu for sure, but I haven't seen anyone do a JuJu like Jimmy does.
Yeah.
You know, it's really hard to copy that the way he does it and how tight he is.
Hmm.
And I always tell people when they see a video of it, I said, you can't see the video and understand that when he's on you, you can't freaking move.
Yeah, how much pressure that is and how much control he
yeah,
has.
and how he does it. I was fortunate to get to see a lot of it, and it's if he gets in there, it's gone. He's getting it.
Yeah.
So normally I have more videos to show, but I'm not going to lie to you. I was getting used to how the system works. You may have laughed at me. I did blame you yesterday, just so you know.
That's
Anytime
okay.
I had a hiccup, I said, blame Travis. It's Travis's
That's
fault.
okay. That's okay. I don't mind. It's a new system, new platform, better features, better
Yeah,
streaming quality
it
for
worked great.
people.
It wasn't the platform, it was me.
But yeah, hopefully you guys enjoyed the video. We'll be doing this every month. It's usually the last Sunday of every month. Trying to squeeze these in as much as we can with travel schedules. You know, apologize for being late, but you know, stuff to do, places to go.
Just so you know, Anonymous wasn't happy. He needed you here. Kept looking for you.
I heard him. I showed up.
Yeah, it
All
was
right.
good. We'll have some new videos next time.
But thank you guys for showing up. It was a pleasure, and we'll see you guys next month.
Yes.